What more can be said about the New England Patriots Brady-Belichick era? It's easily, without a doubt, the greatest dynasty in the history of American football, and one of the greatest in all of sports too. Now, I'm a Jets fan, so I really don't like to drool over how amazing this 2-decade-long stretch was, but there are two plays which I consider to be the greatest from this historic run. No, I'm not going to talk about Edelman's catch, James White's overtime touchdown, any of Vinatieri's kicks, or any of Tom Brady's 641 touchdown passes in both the regular season and postseason. Instead, I'm going to talk about two of the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a plays where Belichick was running on the field, wondering if it was real. Yes, that was a Holy Roller reference. For the first play, we have to go back to New Year's Day of 2006. In the final game of the 2005 regular season, the New England Patriots were playing against the Miami Dolphins. New England already had the AFC East locked up, while the Broncos and Colts already had first-round byes locked in the AFC, so this game essentially meant nothing. Admittedly, the Patriots took a step back in 2005. They were still the Patriots, but they just won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, and came off 2 consecutive seasons where they finished 14-2 and won the Super Bowl. By week 9, the Patriots had already matched their loss total from the previous 2 seasons when they lost their 4th game that season after getting smoked by Peyton Manning and the Colts, which was actually the first time Peyton beat Brady. If you want to learn about my personal favorite matchup between Peyton Manning and Tom Brady, I actually made a video on it. Check it out when you're done with this one. Despite this, it was time for Belichick to have some fun. He definitely deserved it. With just over 6 minutes left in this game, Matt Castle found Tim Dwight for his first NFL touchdown, which already surpassed his touchdown total from his entire college career. After the touchdown, you'd think the Patriots would simply bring out the extra point unit, right? Well, instead, they brought out 43-year-old quarterback Doug Flutie in a peculiar formation to say the least. Just look at this. What exactly is going on here? Is he going to punt it through the uprights? Or maybe it's just an elaborate 2-point conversion attempt. Well, let's take a look.
Doug Flutie will be out there in a very strange formation, trying for 2. Or will it be a drop kick, perhaps? Drop kick for the extra point. It is up and in. Can you believe that?
Wow, it was a drop kick. Shout out to Kevin Harlan for eventually recognizing what was happening. After Doug Flutie converted this drop kick, Bill Belichick can't help but crack a smile, even with his team losing. So, what is a drop kick exactly? In American football, a drop kick is when a player intentionally drops the ball and kicks it immediately after its first bounce after it touches the ground. If it goes through the uprights, it's worth 1 point. So what exactly is the point of a drop kick? Well, there isn't one. All it is a glorified extra point, hence why teams never do it. Also, what exactly was the significance of this play? It was the first successful drop kick since 1941, when players wore leather helmets and took public transportation to the games. It was just for fun. This play alone awarded Doug Flutie with the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. So why did Bill Belichick do this? Well, because he could. No one knows football better than Bill. He wanted to be part of this campy piece of NFL lore, and he also wanted to give Doug Flutie, who was playing in his final game, in fact this was his final play, the opportunity to have a historic moment to end his amazing football career with, and he certainly did. This play was a big deal. Everyone loved it. The fans, the coaches, the players, everyone loved this moment. The reason why it's one of my favorite plays in NFL history is because of how silly it was. At the end of the day, this was just 1 point. If Belichick sent out Adam Vinatieri for a traditional point after attempt, the result would be the same, a mere 1 point. It was something that hadn't been done since 1941, and Bill, he just did it for the hell of it. And in doing so, he provided Doug Flutie with a thrilling swan song to his storied football career. Also, what makes this play so special is how sneakily difficult it is to pull off. If you've ever bounced a football on the ground due to its oblong shape, there's no telling what the result would be. Doug Flutie noted this on the Pat McAfee podcast.
When you did that drop kick, was there any panic or chance of you just completely shanking that off the back of a head of offensive lineman?
It was a crapshoot, no doubt about it. It's a drop kick. In the middle of that field was dirt and bunches of grass, and I had to find a nice smooth spot to drop. And I kept my fingers crossed because it could have gone anywhere.
But Doug Flutie bounced it and timed it perfectly and kicked it right through the goalposts to secure a legendary piece of American football lore. For the next greatest play of the Brady-Belichick era, we need a little background on Dan Connolly. Dan Connolly was an offensive lineman who played with the Patriots from 2007 to 2014. He served as the backup guard, sometimes getting starts in place of injuries to the starters, until 2010, when he more or less became the starter. He even played a little center in 2011. If you go to his Pro Football Reference page, his kick and punt return stats show up first. Peculiar, but okay. He has a total of 4 kick returns in his career. His first came in a 2009 game against the Dolphins, where he took it 16 yards. Not bad. His third and fourth came against the Cleveland Browns in 2010, the first of which he took for 11 yards, and the second went for 8 yards. Nothing unusual here. Sometimes linemen take returns, usually on squib kicks or short kicks, but yeah, it happens sometimes. Usually when it occurs, the lineman goes for like 10 or so yards and just gives up, like this one by Ben Garland of the Seahawks, who gives himself up after going 10 yards. But Dan Connolly wasn't like other old linemen. He wanted glory on the off chance he got the ball on a kickoff. Just look at this return he had against the Browns. To me, it looks like he's following his blockers and trying to find open field to work with. He would get his chance at glory in Week 15 against the Green Bay Packers. Just watch.
Detroit, New England's the hottest team in the league. They never lose at home, seemingly. Then it's 17-7. Bouncing ball fielded at the 25.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, look at this. This is Dan Connolly, the right guard. The right guard. Still going to the 4-yard line.
Unbelievable. He was just a mere 4 yards away from glory, but still, this is one of the most improbable plays in NFL history. I'm sure Sean Slocum, who was the Packers special teams coordinator in 2010, ripped into his special teams unit after letting a 300-pound guard take this kick 71 yards. And yes, I saw the missed illegal block in the back penalty when Sammy Morris pushes the backside of Packers kicker Mason Crosby. As you can see, the ref was looking right at it and decides not to throw the flag, because even he knows he can't take that moment away from the big fella. This was the all-time longest kick return by an offensive lineman. The next longest was by Falcons guard Mel Snyder in 1969, who returned a kick 49 yards and actually took it to the house. I cannot find footage of that, unfortunately, but I'm sure it was awesome. This return wasn't essentially useless, like Doug Flutie's dropkick. This game ended with the Patriots winning 31-27, and the Patriots were losing 17-7 when this play happened. Dan Connolly's return set up a Patriots touchdown just before halftime, so really this was a game-winning play. Dan Connolly was awarded with the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week, and it was all based on that 71-yard return. He and Doug Flutie are two guys who probably figured they would go their entire careers without a Special Teams Player of the Week nod, but due to these two insanely improbable plays, they were able to add that to their resumes. Belichick and his teammates couldn't believe it. Belichick said this about the return: "It was a good run. It kind of looked like he was looking to go down, but then they just couldn't find anybody to tackle him. It was an alert play by Dan, but also by the blocking in front of him to at least get him started." And Tom Brady said this: "That was the longest kickoff return ever. And the longest kickoff return, I don't know what he means by that. I've never seen anything happen so slow in my life. It was an unbelievable play. I can never imagine anything like that is going to happen. That really was a big play in the game. Heads up play by Conley. Smart. They won't be kicking to him anymore, I'll tell you that." And Tom Brady was correct. Dan Connolly appeared in 67 more games, including the playoffs, after this play, and never registered another kick return again. It was clear opposing teams were scared to kick off to him, as the memory of this play lived on in every opposing head coach's head. Going into the 2014 season, Dan Connolly was named a team captain for the Patriots, and he started at left guard in that year's Super Bowl. He retired from the game after that season, ending his career as a Super Bowl champion, but his career highlight will always be that absurd and frankly awesome kick return. So that's it. The two greatest plays of the Brady-Belichick era. If you disagree, feel free to comment what you feel the two best plays of this historic era were. But honestly, I don't know what two plays can possibly top that drop kick and that kick return. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, comment Corrupt File Sports Army with that emoji, the one that's on the screen, I'm not sure what it's called, so I know who the real ones are. Good night, everyone.